Hello, my name is Sassy Gamer Lady, and I am here to teach you everything you need to know about creating a game club at the library. How to run a successful game club. There's 5 simple steps. Make sure you have time and space. Know your audience. Make sure that you market and use outreach. It's very important to host events and participate. And never forget, statistics. And all of these above equal success. Step 1, time and space. What time will you host Game Club? Which days and how often? How long, when you're looking at games, will it run for? And do you have the staffing? Making sure you have space and tables and time all are important factors in creating a good game club. For instance, if you have a small space, you'll want to look at card games, such as Fluxx and Munchkin, or board games such as Settlers of Catan or Forbidden Island. Larger spaces can manage bigger games, like Descent and Talisman. Another factor to take into consideration for space is noise. As pointed out by John Pass, the branch manager in the Bucks County Free Library System, he gives an excellent example of what to consider. Games such as Escape the Curse of the Temple, a fast, tense cooperative game, will generate plenty of loud, boisterous player interaction. However, games such as Dominion, Sushi Go, or Seven Wonders will tend to be quiet and sober. Another game that's very popular that can be loud is Dungeons & Dragons, which is a great tabletop role-playing game, but sound and space will definitely play a factor in your library. Step 2, know your audience. It's important that you know the age group you're thinking of targeting. For instance, when I built a game club, I was looking at teens and adults. However, it's important to be inclusive and include everybody. Thinking about the age group that you're going to target also changes the way in which you're going to think about your programming and what events you're going to host. We'll pause for a second to talk about who Dr. Scott Nicholson is. Dr. Scott Nicholson is an expert in the field and wrote Everyone Plays at the Library, creating a great gaming experience for all ages. And according to Wikipedia, Nicholson is the former director of the Masters of Library and Information Science program at CCRUS University School of Information Studies, and is also currently resides as the program director of Wilfrid Laurie's University Game Design and Development program and director of the Bradford Games Network. He is known for his numerous contributions to library journals and is considered an expert in the gaming field, and he suggests it's important to think about the 5 different gaming experience archetypes in order to entice players or patrons to participate in Game Club. He talks about social. Social games usually are like party games like Cards Against Humanity and Apples to Apples or Codenames. These games help encourage social interaction. Narrative archetypes are about players who like to focus on like games such as Tales of Arabians or tabletop role-playing like Dungeons & Dragons, in which the game is the focus of the game is on the story and the players are about developing the story. Action archetype experience in games is about dealing with dexterity. Games such as Jenga are helpful with this. Knowledge is looking at ways of using games to teach, and gamification is usually a good example of that. Strategy games such as Settlers of Catan and Terraforming Mars will help players who are looking at challenging ways to think critically. What can be very overwhelming when you're first setting up a game club is thinking about what types of games should you have in your game club collection. John Pappas covers this in a 6-part series about how to create and encourage participation. He refers to certain games as a gateway game. He says a gateway game is any game with simple rules that is easy to teach to new players. This is the perfect genre of game to attract new players to board gaming as a hobby. They're easy to set up, they're quick to learn, and they play in under an hour. Filler games such as these, which are card games, are easy to set up for people who just arrive or leaving, or easy to play in between games. Pass refers to Scott Nicholson in the term of what he defined as bait games. Scott Nicholson says, the idea of a bait game is that it is short, easy to teach, visually attractive, and instantly engaging. It is a game that you can have out on a table and someone says, hey, what's that? All of these games are really good for a foundation to start when you're looking at starting a game club. Step 3, marketing and outreach. It's important to make sure you market game club in order to entice people to participate in it. Advertising and social media are essential. For instance, you can see on the left, here is a typical advertisement I put together for the game club that I used to run, and on the right is a typical advertisement I would do for, let's say, a tournament like Internationals Game Day that's supported by ALA. Social media is in socials well because it is free, it is easy to use, and if you have a staff member where that is their job to make sure that they handle social media, that's a good way to go about it. Another thing to target is outreach. Taking the games in the game club outside of the library. You can look at, communicating with, working with schools, retirement homes, coffee shops, and even homeless shelters. There's never an end to reaching out and outreach. Another great resource to use when you're first starting out and to continue to use are local stores. There are lots of, even in stores in my area like Third Eye Comics and Labyrinth that host lots of gaming events, are happy to work with you, happy to host your information, and sometimes will even give you freebies to use for, hosting in a tournament or using for your collection. It's also very vital to use information communities such as like Board Game Geek, where they have forums, they have information, they have engagement, they have lots of tutorials on games, anything you can think of. Geek and Sundry is another good information community, as well as Games in the Gaming Roundtable, which is created and ran by the American Library Association. They have lots of great information on how to create a game club, how to run one, and also how to start your collection. Step 4, hosting events and participation is vital to the success of your game club. Events create interest. Here you will see an International Games Day, which is sponsored by LAA. We received free games, we signed up for it, it's once a year, and here you can see a huge range of different ages and different people participating and having a lot of fun. You can have tournaments, family bingo, you can have Magic the Gathering is another type of tournament. All of these things create interest and a buzz about your game club. One thing to consider is participation. It is vital for people are most likely to participate, as you can see in this pie chart, if someone is staffing the event. If there's games on the table that are set up and someone is there to lead the event and teach them. And here you can notice if there's no games, people are less likely in this pie chart to want to participate and be a part of it. This was a survey done of 14 people from the age of 10 to 45. Step 5, last but not least, is the important and difficult thing that some people don't like, which is statistics. Yay! Here you will see it is vital and important to make sure that you have statistics. This helps you evaluate how your game club is doing. It helps you evaluate your different events, what attracts more children versus teens versus adult, and keeping these statistics on hand also provide proof and validate the existence of the program. Last but not least, which is really important, should never be dismissed, are surveys. Here you can see that I created a quick survey for people to review these different items, such as how did you hear about the game club, what makes you want to participate and keep coming back, and last but not least, the most difficult question is what do you like most about the club and how Game Club, and how do you think it could improve? It is a difficult question to ask, but as you can see by these results, the feedback was actually very useful. You can go back and look at this and see, okay, so we know we need to advertise more. Oh, we need to introduce games and make sure someone's there explaining the rules. Overall, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope this has encouraged you to try out a game club. If not creating one, maybe go to a library and support your local library and participate in one. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on Twitter. I am Sassy Gamer Lady, or it would be lovely of you to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at my video and my tutorial, and if you have any suggestions, they're much appreciated. Thank you.